this subject matter under engineering, but you'll also see on the front, I also included environmental. Environmental is crucial, so that's why we put it in. I just want to do the introduction, and then I'll hand over to the chairperson. I think the one important thing is that you all note on the agenda the competition legislation, and ASPASA has been very fortunate that we weren't clouded by the competition legislation, because we keep it very, very neutral. Today, we're talking about dust and engineering things, and it's very crucial that we keep to that. If you feel we're touching on stuff, please, inform us, because sometimes, there might be something that we slide over, and then we say, oops, no, we can't talk about that. And I think then just the general rules of the teams is the participants to disable the videos, to have, so that we can have better quality. We stay muted unless the chairman tells us we can talk. We put up our little hand. Those of you who don't know Teams, it's got a little hand at the top there. You click on there, your hand comes on. The chairperson sees you. When you finish, to take your hand off. People forget to take their hand off, and then keep discussions short and to the point. So that's where I'm going to hand over to my chairperson for this important committee, engineering committee, and I see we've got 21 people. So Theolan, over to you, and I will leave the session, or leave my face off. Thanks.
Afternoon, everyone. Apologies, I started off with morning. I think I'm sitting in my office the whole day. Anyway, welcome. It's been over a year since we had our last meeting, quite successful one at Supersand. And yeah, we just want to get over this year and hopefully start on a good note as of next year. So we've got quite a tight schedule. We have Splitex. It's Brett and team who will give us a supplier overview of their cleaning products. Brett, I have heard you all a bit earlier. If you can just help us, 45 minutes is a bit long, but if you could give us an overview, I would give you all some airtime. Maybe we can take it offline with the company from company, and you can discuss further from that if you don't mind. We're going to go across to some of the pertinent engineering issues from our members, if any. We'll bring up a few from our end as well in AfriSam. Then we're going to look at another supplier, Douglas from AirTracks. So he'll give us a review of their technology. Then we've got Robin Race to do just a high-level presentation on your mine health and safety GCC engineer roles and responsibilities. I think it will add a lot of value in terms of most of the colleagues in the industry. Then I'm going to take you all through ASPASA's voluntary association recognition with EXA, how far we were with the process, and some systems from some of the members who are professionally registered. So just to follow up on that, and then we'll open it up to the members for any questions. For some of the questions that we don't get through in today's meeting, we'll just through Anneke get some of your comments back, and between Nico and myself, if it's technically, I'm happy to assist with that. So if we could just start off, Brett and Boyka, if you could just take us through your supplier introduction, I'll appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Right. Well, firstly, thank you very much for your participation, and hopefully we can share our knowledge with you as quickly as we possibly can. And please stop us at any point of view. The way we've put this together is in the format of a PowerPoint presentation with videos. If you don't mind, I'm going to pull any of the long-winded videos so that we can just show the actual the results instead of showing you the full videos. Thereafter, what we are able to do is share this with you. They are obviously large files when it comes to videos, but we certainly would be able to send this via Nico and Theo to yourself to make sure that it is in that environment. Are you able to see the video?
Not as yet, Brett.
Okay, I don't know why it's not pulling through. Let me just see what's. Share options. Okay, I don't know why this is not.
Okay. The presentation is up, Brett.
Is it up? Great. Okay. All right. So effectively.
Sorry, Brett, you've gone away and we can't see the presentation.
I think we lost Brett there.
Yeah.
Let's just give him a minute.
Yeah.
And we'll move on. Okay, so while we're waiting for Brett, I think maybe let me just move on to item number 7, just to save some time. About quite a few months back, in I would say closer to the end of last year, ASPASA wanted to be recognized through EXA as a voluntary association. So there's been quite a bit of work that has been done in the background, and we're right at the end now for the final submission. We require 10 members that are professionally registered in order for us to complete the registration process. So we have discussed with quite a few of the members. If you are online and you have been pinged and you have not responded to Paula, could you please just assist us to just give us your professional registration? And please note, you'll have to be in good standing with EXA. In other words, your fees paid up. If you're not having any problems on the EXA end, you're welcome to just pop me a mail or Paula, and I can see where I can assist you all as well. So once we get the voluntary association recognition, it will also help with the incorporation of more members onto the system. Sometime earlier next year, we're going to be, or I will be engaging in some development talks of how we incorporate engineers. Further, we're also going to be looking at how these engineers can be developed in the industry. We've done it successfully over the last few years. So I'm happy to engage with you all. But I think once that comes up, we can have some kind of development platform under ASPASA's wing for the engineers on the quarry sector. Okay, so that's just an update on ASPASA voluntary association recognition. Is Brett back online? Okay. I think let's just continue. Douglas from AirTrack. Douglas, are you online?
Yes, I am.
Yes, Douglas, if you don't mind and if you are ready, maybe we can start off on your end if that's the case.
Most certainly. If I can just check with my team. Austin, are you there?
Hey, Douglas, I am.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Theolin and everybody, Nico also, for the opportunity. So, I'm going to be handing over shortly to Austin Brown, just regarding the whole issue of air quality monitoring, as well as, the new ISO 23875 that relates to air quality specifically in the cabs of your machines. So this is more of an informational session, so to bring everyone up to speed about the new ISO. And then also we're going to introduce to you the Cyclone system. Austin is Vice President, Technical and Sales at Cyclone International. And he and his president have worked quite closely with the ISO committees on the writing of the new ISO regulations too. So I'm going to ask you, please don't hesitate to ask questions. The whole idea is to just help and everyone to understand. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this presentation. Without further ado, let me hand over to Austin then. Thank you again.
Very good. Thank you, Douglas, and really appreciate the committee's time and opportunity to share a really important update and something that, as Douglas mentioned, we're very passionate and encouraged about, and that is protecting operators within the cabs of heavy equipment and light vehicles across mine sites around the globe. And so, as Douglas mentioned, I'm from Cyclone International. However, my colleague Jeff Mordock, who's EVP at Cyclone and head of our strategy team, has been ushering in and working with the International Society of Standards, the ISO organization, over the past 12 months to work on a new mining air quality standard, ISO 23875. And very excited to share with you this morning that this standard has officially passed. And so as of last week, the International Society had balloted and it was approved. And so now it has gone from a draft standard to an actual standard. So this morning and this afternoon, as we talk through this, you're some of the first in the world to hear about it as an official standard. Also, as Douglas mentioned, don't hesitate to either raise your hand or jump in with questions, meant to be very conversational as we walk through what does the standard entail, what are the performance and engineering requirements of the standard, and then how can your organization meet those standards ahead of the curve and really be some of the first in the world to address and adopt these updates. And so as we were looking at the standard, one of the big things that we noticed around the world and even there in South Africa, Australia, Europe, some of the markets that we work with, a lack of machine cab air quality standardization in the mining industry is really a detriment, not only to the health of the operator, but safety across the work site, because as CO2 increases in a cab, cognition can decrease. It can be a very big health and safety concern for not only the operator and the machine, but essentially anybody and everybody that has boots on the ground at that quarry or at that mine site. And then in addition, it can be a detriment to trade, with every small kind of economy around the world having their own requirements and, pieces around the standard. This is one standard approach that everybody can really get behind. And so as I shared with you, ISO 23875 is now an official international standard that sets out to create a consistent approach to dust control and air quality control systems in mining, quarry, and aggregate sectors. And there's really three big things that you need to know about ISO 23875. One, it set out to maintain a safe level of CO2 inside of the cab or the operator environment. Two, it sets up routine performance testing that are easy to do in the field by either an industrial hygienist, a service manager, or someone there at the site using tools readily available to be able to test both cab pressurization, operating CO2 concentration, as well as fresh and recirculation. And then there's maintenance that goes along throughout the life cycle of the cab to ensure really from cradle to grave. So whenever the machine is built, all the way through its operating system and life cycle, that it maintains the utmost performance. And, wanted to call out that this standard was not done in isolation. It was done, with a cross-functional team of experts from around the world. There were 22 subject matter experts across 10 different countries, including mining machine manufacturers, international mining companies, such as Rio Tinto, and also manufacturers such as Epiroc and Volvo. There were vendors, also mining and quarry companies. So a lot of voices were captured in creating this standard so that it is something that, is not only maintainable, but also beneficial to everyone through the mining life cycle. And speaking of life cycle, one of the big differences about this standard as opposed to other standards is that it is a life cycle standard. So it does impact and kind of regulate the air quality performance systems throughout the entire life cycle of the machine, from the initial design at the factory all the way to the operation and ongoing maintenance and performance testing. So there is something for everyone throughout this. As we look at the benefits of ISO 23875, there's benefits across the entire kind of landscape, whether it's an equipment operator by reducing the instances of lower lung and chronic health conditions, or even the mining and quarry company being able to lower equipment maintenance cost. AC systems, HVAC systems run longer, given that there's less dust and debris and particulate building up on the evaporator core. This allows machines to have longer uptime and less frequent maintenance intervals. And so as we look at a couple of the big benefits, operator health is one of the big ones. Lost productivity and increased safety concerns is another one, because as you're able to manage CO2 levels inside of the machine operator cab, you're able to create safer work environments across the entire mine site, because increased CO2 exposure can really lead to sleepiness, fatigue, and as most people on this call and across the world are concerned about, is having that operator health and safety and managing the fatigue is something that's really important, and keeping that alertness of an operator is first and foremost from a safety standpoint. Also can reduce maintenance costs, and looking at several different things there. So any questions around the benefits of ISO 23875 before we get into the engineering and performance requirements? Okay. So several of the big performance requirements of ISO 23875, as we have discussed, is the first one is really maintaining defined levels of CO2. And the way that the working group has defined this is that the maximum allowable level of CO2 inside of an operator cab is the ambient CO2 of the work site or the environment where the machine or operator cab is operating, plus 400 parts per million. And so, that has to be measured in near real time on an ongoing basis to really maintain and ensure that safe working condition for the operator. The other piece that we're looking at is recirculation efficiency. And so the standard calls out that the maximum respirable particulate concentration is less than 25 micrograms at the start and end of the decay test. And the decay test has to be completed within 120 seconds. So 2 minutes from start to finish, you have to be able to bring that dust, that particulate matter back to the permissible level of limits to achieve that recirculation efficiency. Another big piece is that the system must maintain cab pressurization at all times, not just when the HVAC is running. And this really makes sure that you're able to protect that operator, protect the machine at all times. So upon key switch turning on, the standard requires at minimum 20 Pascal of cabin pressure, and it cannot exceed 200 Pascals of cabin pressure. And then the other component is real-time operator monitoring. So all of these pieces are extremely important, but if you're not able to monitor them in near real time, you're not able to get clear and true data of what's going on inside of that cabin. And so between what Douglas and his team's doing, there's a lot of innovations going on in the world of real-time cab monitoring, and something that this standard calls out specifically, including very specific sensors for CO2 and very specific components to get quality and high fidelity data. And so a lot of these updates are either new or enhanced or refined as far as requirements that are coming out around the aircon control systems. And one of the questions that we often get from quarry operators, service managers that are managing, large aggregate sites is, well, how do I do this and why should I do this? We've covered the why as far as the health and safety aspect, but a lot of times we also hear from service managers that they're able to get more life out of their evap core so that they're not getting dusted and the machines aren't going down. They're able to keep the machines in the field longer and really keep rock quarry aggregates moving at a faster pace and more consistently. So as we look at how do you meet these standards, the Cyclone system of cab air quality that we call RESPA is able to help you meet each of these through maintaining the defined levels of CO2, driving that fast and efficient recirculation, as well as keeping cab pressure. So the Cyclone system includes a fresh air system that has a high efficiency filter in it. That also is a self-cleaning filter, so you get longer filter life. Another thing we hear from a lot of quarry managers is, quite frankly, the cost of installing a new system or a new technology. We designed RESPA and our filters to increase filter life so that you can really focus on truck loads and not filter loads. What this is allowing you to do is the radial seal design, make sure that air, doesn't bypass the filter. We rotate air around the filter so that the pre-cleaning kicks out 90% of the biggest dust and only the finest ISO particles actually land on the filter. During the normal wear and tear of the machine, during the normal operations of the machine, as the wheel loader or truck is moving, the filter self-cleans. It drops dust off of the filter face, getting you longer filter life as opposed to it getting buildup of dust, debris, and increasing restriction and essentially leading to lower filter life. And so that's one of the advantages of the RESPA system, not only the longer filter life, but lower cost of maintenance overall. And so between the fresh air system, the recirculated system that drives the recirculation efficiency and ensure that you're getting not only fresh air in the cab that's particulate free, but you're recirculating that air and getting any dust and debris out. And then our radial shield filters. These are new filters that we just introduced this summer that are able, the HEPA version, to stop COVID-19 size particles. Air quality is of kind of top of everybody's mind right now, given what's going on from a world health pandemic. Our new HEPA filters are able to stop particles the size of COVID-19, not only in the operator cab environment, but also in fixed cabs as well. And then the real-time cab monitoring is the RESPA Advisor. It's a real-time CO2 and cab pressure system. So I'll stop there, and any questions or feedback on not only the requirements, but how to meet those?
Austin, sorry to disturb you, man. It's quite a good presentation. We're going to be running out of time. So may I ask that if you could just finish off at a higher level, and then, the members can contact you and we can do it via the members' companies and go more in detail with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and wrap up. So, really the biggest takeaway that I want to share with you and the team is that there's a lot of overly engineered and complex solutions in the marketplace, and Cyclone wants to partner with you to simplify air filtration, to make sure that we can control, the dust, the particulate, and the microscopic respirable material that's on your quarry sites. And so, as we look at this case study in Canada, this was a heavy piece of machinery without a RESPA system. You can see that the dust concentration is all over the map, whereas once we installed the RESPA, this red line shows the dust levels, and the only spike was when the operator opened the door for an extended period of time, but it quickly came back down. So I'll just leave you with that as far as from a performance requirement and performance standard. The RESPA drives dust and clean air throughout the system in a very simplified, cost-effective way. If you have any questions about ISO 23875, the new standard that is now outlining air quality across mine sites and quarry sites, do not hesitate to reach out. Would love to have a broader conversation and dig down deep. Douglas and team in South Africa and Botswana and the surrounding countries are experts and can help connect you with Jeff Mordock and myself and the broader team. But really appreciate the time this morning, the attention, and if there's any questions now, or I can hang on till the end. But thank you for the opportunity to join.
Thank you, Austin. Douglas, just from your end.
Thank you, Theolin. If I may, just a small correction. We as a company are Trisome Auto Electrical Engineering, not AirTrack. And I will apologize. Obviously, time will not allow us to get into the AirTrack real-time monitoring system, but I can share it electronically. And of course, we are welcome for any of the members to contact us directly. If there is any interest, we do have we are actually offering demos on the air quality monitoring with the RESPA system to give you a business case on the actual improvements, where we would actually fit everything, monitor without the RESPA system, then turn the system on so that we can actually quantify results. So anyone who is leaning that way, we're also available. And that is me done, except to say thank you very, very much for this opportunity on behalf of Trisome.
Yeah, thank you, Douglas and Austin. We will be in touch. If not from the members' view, I mean from AFRISAM view as well. We've got our regional operation managers here as well. So I'm sure there'll be other discussions out of this. Thank you very much. Brett, you back? Maybe we can go on with you now.
Sorry, I didn't realize that the presentation had been cut. But what I wanted to find out from you, whereabout did it get cut so I can pick it up from there?
We didn't get the start of the presentation, Brett.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Let me quickly try and share the content. Can you see the content on screen?
Not yet.
Okay, and now?
Oh, here you go.
Okay. Right. So you can see that now.
Correct.
Okay. Right. I'm going to run through this very quickly. As you can see from our side, what is really important is effectively what we deal with dust suppression, mine roads, mine processing and enhancement, fire suppression, and water cleanup. The most important thing for us is that we are able to reduce water down to 0.1 of a micron, thereby capturing dusts. So that is particularly assertive to ourselves, and effectively we have a wetting and emulsification and a deaggregation process within one process. The issue also is that the product is 100% natural. I'm going to quickly go into some slides. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. If we look at the videos from the mine dust control, we do quite a few of the larger mines in the coal industry and also in the steel ore industry. One of the processing plants that you see, and I'm going to pull it very quickly, you'll see this person walking into the dust. This is a silicone mine just outside Delmas, and we
sorry, Brett, there's no video.
Okay. Can you see the video now?
No.
Is the video showing through?
No.
Can you see the video?
Not from our side, no.
Not yet, Brett.
I wonder why it's not playing through.
Share your screen again. Share another screen.
Yeah.
Take your presentation off and just share your video screen. So kill the presentation, close it, and just share the video.
Okay. Sorry, this is most embarrassing. Sorry. All right. So if we look at the side of in terms of mine dust control. Are you able to see that now?
No.
Not as yet.
Is that now showing?
No.
All right. I don't know why this Microsoft is not picking it up. Yeah. Is that one showing?
Not
No.
as yet. Brett, I think just take us through, just your presentation, and we can take it up with the members on individual presentations.
Right.
If that's fine with you as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry about this. I really am.
That's fine.
I don't know why it's not pulling through. All right. So effectively, our biggest issue is that we are able to suppress dust.
Sorry, Brett, your presentation is also not showing.
Okay. Is it showing now?
No. Is your screen shared?
Yeah, it is. Okay, is it showing now or not?
No. Otherwise, just talk through it.
Yeah. Is it showing there now or not?
No.
Right.
Not as yet.
All right. I'm really sorry about this. I don't understand why it's not showing, but it's not. So from our point of view, we basically are into the dust suppression side of the business. And
It's on screen.
Oh, is it on screen now? Great. Okay. So from our point of view, we basically can suppress dust on any of the components in a quarry, that being from crusher to stacking conveyors to roads, and we also have the ability to basically make sure that the dust control is controlled from anything from 0.01 of a micron, which obviously is the unseen dust and the dangerous dust on a site. The other part of our component is that we are able to stabilize roads, and the reason for that is because we are able to get the polymers or any of the other components to greater depths than anyone else currently in the market. We also have the ability to basically suppress fires, and we have a natural descalant and an anti-corrosive properties in the actual product itself. The product itself is 100% natural and has the ability to get all of the componentry and cover all the componentry inside a quarry environment or other environments. So from my side, unfortunately, I can't show you all of the videos, which was the primary objective of today. What I would need to do is send it through to ASPASA, and they would be able to let you go through the actual videos themselves at a later date. This is obviously a very big presentation, so I wouldn't be able to send it to each one of you. Is there any questions that you'd like to ask from my side?
Sorry, Brett, can I try and share the videos from our side to the screens?
Please, if you can.
Okay, let me see what I can do. Okay, are you able to see the screen?
Yeah, I am able to see the screen.
Yes, we can.
This video was just based, unfortunately, we can't hear the sound. Yeah. I think what we wanted to show here is basically this is just under straightforward pressure in an evaporation dam. Unfortunately, you can't see the sound, so it's no use really watching it. But what you're seeing here is the steam, the head of mist that is created. So this doesn't really show us the correct pattern, but it gives you the covering in terms of the mist that is created. It shows how it softens the water, thereby allowing this to be able to get to the components and break them up accordingly. So.
I'm also going to show then the silicone, the mine dust control regarding silicone main, the silicone. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask Valdi to pull this video because it's a long-winded one. What you're seeing is the person is walking towards the dust, and you can see how basically the dust is conforming, and within 4 minutes of suppressing dust on the conveyors, you can actually see that we have a 100% clear system from where it started. I think that gives you the general idea of what we're all about, and it's all about capturing dust in very, very small particles. Okay, these are sites that basically we control, where the truck dumps. There's a misting system to avoid any of the dust coming through on this. I'm going to ask Valdi just to go to the crushers on this point, on these videos. Yeah, that's not the actual crushers where the pictures are showing. Not that one, then the one from the top view. You'll see this top view of a crusher, and you will be able to see that there's no dust coming out of these crusher points, and thereby basically making sure that all the dust is suppressed on these crusher points.
Any other videos you want me to show?
I think the one I'd like to show is the stacking conveyor with the section 54.
Brett and Valdi, can we just finish off on this last video, right?
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
I think actually we can finish off, to be quite honest with you. that just shows you what the stacking conveyor looks like. And mine was under section 54, and we are able to reduce it. What is important from our side, we offer a full end-to-end service where we basically come and inspect and make sure that we place the system in to make sure your dust is suppressed. So Theolon, thank you very much. I appreciate your time, and sorry for the inability to pick the presentation up.
No. Thanks for that, Brett and Valdi. Look, Brett, I think there is scope. We'll take it out of this meeting as well, so you can do it properly, maybe with the individual companies. Again, I think AfriSam will obviously like to have a look at that in further detail. But thank you for the presentation. It's much appreciated.
Thank you.
Okay, if you can just move over to Robin Race, just from a mind health and safety point of view, to just give us put a high-level presentation together on some of the responsibilities, governed by the GCC engineer. So, Robin, over to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Robin Rees. I'm the 213-1 engineer on 3 of the quarries here in Gauteng. Let me just share my presentation. Hopefully I don't battle like some others. Can you all see that?
Yes, Robin.
Can you see that?
Yes, Robin.
Okay. Okay, so just so everybody understands, the A in the picture doesn't stand for ASPASA. It stands for, and doesn't stand for AfriMat either, it stands for AfriSam. Just the background. So obviously we're talking today about the 213-1 appointment, and that's just the extract out of the law of the regulation regarding that. So we're still awaiting the proclamation of the recommendation to push up the kilowatts to 5,000 kilowatts. But that's not what we're talking about today. So the scope of this presentation is basically to talk about what are the duties and tasks of a 213-1 engineer. And in my opinion, and I've also gotten some assistance from my colleagues to put together these tasks. So firstly, we're going to look at monthly inspections and tasks. Ad hoc inspections and tasks, 3, 6, and 12 monthly inspections and tasks, and then procedures. So on the monthly inspections and tasks, I think what you have to be involved in is safety meetings. So need to attend safety meetings. If you can't, you need to then make sure you have the minutes and check that the issues that have been raised are adequately addressed. One of the other things you need to do monthly is legal registers. So in AfriSam we have up to about 50 legal registers. Not all of them are engineering related, but most of them are. So on these legal registers is the inspection register that is used by the personnel in the plant when they inspect various items. So, for example, lifting equipment, cranes, firefighting equipment, portable ladders, fixed portable electrical equipment, hand tools, impact torque tools, gas cutting, welding, earth leakage, transformers, substations, MCCs, electric fence, etc. So, and then there's several more. So, then another thing monthly is electrical installations. So just inspection of electrical reticulation and installations, earth leakage and earth testing results. And this is done basically on the walkabouts in the plant. And also electrical substation MCC inspections. We have incorporated some of the legal registers into the MCC and substation logbooks. So those are signed off in the book. And then work permits and lockout registers. This is a very important aspect to check that the work permits and lockout registers are being utilized and used properly by the plant personnel, and that the risk assessment especially are done correctly and adequate. And then also, there's also a part of legal register, but I'll mention it separately as well because that's very important. There's the lifting equipment and lifting tackle to ensure the compliance, not just to legal registers, but in situ that that it is correct and being maintained and stored, and the registers are in place. So on ad hoc inspections and tasks, I think engineer has to be involved in incident and accident investigations, where they are investigated and the correct actions are implemented. On TMM inspections for new equipment that arrives on site, so the engineer has to check that it complies to the standard. In the TMM CRP, I put it as general TMM CRP, but to basically audit compliance to the CRP and basically walking about on the plant and the quarry pit. And the same goes for the conveyor CRP to ensure the compliance of conveyors. And then also general machinery guarding just on normal plant walkabouts, not just conveyors, but other guarding as well. And then major maintenance tasks and projects is obviously a big risk. So need to be involved when there's big jobs going on, especially on the risk side. And then TMM operators. So any new appointments that need to be made need to be checked and assessed and appointed by the 231 engineer. And then obviously the DMR keeps us quite busy from time to time with inspections. So you need to be involved, especially in the machinery inspector visits. And then reporting is obviously very important to actually put your findings in electronic format and send it to somebody who is in charge, the works manager or other responsible persons. Because if you do not have proof and you unfortunately there's an incident and you get thrown under the bus, you need to have your documentation to prove what you have done and what you have reported on. I think on the 3 and 6 and 12 monthly inspections, so 3 monthly, we also been asked by the DMR several times to show that the engineers checked the TMM maintenance records, so they request we do that 3 monthly. On the 6 monthly is transformer inspections, the oil analysis, basically to review the findings and make sure that the equipment is still healthy. And on TMM brake testing, we at FSM do this on a 6 monthly basis. So do a dynamic brake testing using a Simred brake tester. So that we do 6 monthly. And on annual inspections, obviously MV substations, you need to inspect your switchgear and ensure that the testing and injection testing is done. Structural inspections, we inspect all our structures, detailed inspection every year. And one year internal, 1 year external. And then SAP PM, which is SAP PM is our maintenance system. You might have a different one, just to perform a detailed annual audit on the SAP maintenance and to check that the plant situation in the plant and the condition of the plant is reflects the same what you're seeing on the SAP. And then obviously ASPASA audits. And this year has been a bit quiet, obviously, but to join Marius during his plant walkabouts. and also give you inputs. And then, and lastly, on procedures, engineer needs to ensure that there's safe working procedures and that cover all the maintenance and engineering activities. And so you need to assist with drafting, reviewing, and revising of them, and also codes of practice. Then training to ensure that there's a system in place to train employees on safe work procedures and COPs. Obviously, it's not the engineer's responsibility to implement it, but needs to ensure that it happens. And then plan job observations to ensure that there's a system in place to where PJOs are done and that people are tested on their knowledge and the deviations are recorded. And also then to ensure that there's a system in place to take learnings and to revise the procedures accordingly when procedures are lacking in detail or where there's fundamental problems with procedures. So basically that's all that I have. I don't know if there's anyone that has any comments or any questions.
Okay, Robin, thank you for that. Yeah, colleagues, if you have any questions and you want to discuss with the 213.1 or even the 213.2s, you're welcome to send that directly through ASPASA or myself. Yeah, it's important, I think, with their responsibilities and the DMR per area, that we abide as best as we can and come up with practical solutions to try and work within the Mine Health and Safety Act. Okay, so just on that note, I just wanted to open up to the members. With this agenda going forward, we usually encourage youngsters to give off a presentation, obviously with planning in the background. Not just the youngsters, but it's also the senior team members that attend this meeting. And if there's any items on the agenda that you would like to see that we can focus on. Obviously, today's session was technically focused, but we'll bring it back more on the engineering, mechanical and electrical ends. I'm not talking on the supplier side, more internally, but it's nice to have a diverse portfolio in terms of what's being presented. So if you've got any good ideas, please be welcome to send that through. I just want to open to the members. Are there any questions for today's meeting, aside from the short timing? Okay, I guess there's no questions here. Okay, so I'd like to thank everyone for coming in or for attending today's function. I can assure you from next year, we will obviously structure it much better to just ensure that we get all relevant input and give the suppliers as well as the individuals more time in order to get through their presentation. On that note, I'd just like to thank everyone for attending today. Keep well and drive safe. Cheers.
Thanks, Chair. Go well and thanks.
Sorry, Nico, is there anything on your side?
No, I just thank you for chairing it and thanks for the people who've joined. Thank you very, very much.
Okay, noted. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.